Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Big day today because we have the quarterfinals of the BHDL4 Draft League Tournament, and that is going to be against Emeraldminer. You guys should know him by now. He is a strong competitive battler and experienced Draft League participant. I believe this is our 5th time we've played here on Scarlet and Violet. So we'll go ahead and get the battle on its way here. Obviously, very, very important game today. First round of playoffs, and so there he is. IGN is, of course, Emeraldminer. And let's take a look and see what he brought to battle. So, he's got the Annihilate. He's got the Greninja. He's got the Enamorous. He's got the Cryogonal. He's got the Metagross. And he's got the Sandy Shocks. Alright, so this is more or less the squad that I was expecting from him. I am a little surprised to see no Moltres, actually. That's a little bit of a surprise to me. But everything else I was kind of expecting. I kind of had a game plan going into this, and I think we're going to stick with that game plan, and that is to lead Mudsdale. So I think we're going to lead Mudsdale here. Predicting his lead. Hopefully we get it right, because this is kind of a, obviously very... it's a very could go either way type of lead situation for us. So, yeah, we'll just do that, and we will see how that works out. So, obviously, with this being the first round of the playoffs, it is do or die time because there are only two choices here: win and advance, or lose and be eliminated. So, very important game, obviously, as we're going to see what he wants to lead with here. He does go ahead and lead with the Sandy Shocks, as predicted, as we lead with the Mudsdale. So this is really what I was hoping to see him lead with. So I'm expecting him to want to start stacking hazards right out of the gate here. So for that reason, I really just kind of want to go straight for an Earthquake. I'm kind of expecting this thing to be like a Focus Sash lead. So we're just going to click Earthquake right away. I think that's the play. If he predicts it, so be it. But I feel like he's going to hazard stack early here. Yeah, we could have tried to get our hazards up, but I feel like he's probably going to want to hazard stack us. So we're going to hope to get this thing with an Earthquake early and see what he wants to do. If he switches into one of his Pokemon that's immune to ground, that would obviously suck quite badly, but Mudsdale could potentially have coverage for those Pokemon as well. So the real question is, how does he want to play it? We just made the obvious play straight out of the gate here. And just to see what he wants to do early. If he does switch at least, okay, he does stay in and go for the Stealth Rock, so I kind of figured he would do that. So he goes ahead and gets the Stealth Rock up. As we are going to nail this thing with an Earthquake, it will take it out unless it's Focus Sash. It does knock him down, it looks like, to the Focus... Oh, no, it doesn't knock him down to a Focus Sash. Okay, that was quite surprising. And we didn't see an item pop either, so that's very interesting. So he must be, like, max Fizz Def on that thing to survive that attack, so that's quite surprising. So yeah, now we definitely don't want to go for Earthquake again. There's every possibility that he could try to switch into one of his Pokemon that are immune, so I kind of want to just go straight for the Stone Edge here. I don't really want to... I mean, we could roar him out, but if he stays in, that would be a bad play. So I feel like Stone Edge will definitely take him out from that range if he does stay in. So I feel like we just Stone Edge here. I think that's the play, as he does switch. Okay, can we catch one of his Pokemon coming in? He does switch in. What's that? It is going to be the Enamorous. Can we hit a Stone Edge? We go for the Stone Edge. We do connect, and it does one-shot, cleanly one-shot with a critical hit, actually. One-shots the Enamorous, knocking him down to 5 Pokemon right out of the gate. So that is absolutely huge for us. I don't know if that crit mattered or not. I kind of don't think it did, because we're max attack Mudsdale. So yeah, but that's an amazing thing for us. So now he's going to come in with Greninja. So the question at this point is, how do we want to play the Greninja? Because we are Terra Water on the Mudsdale. So we could Terra in order to resist the water and the ice attacks from this thing and nail it with an Earthquake. The only bad news about that would be is we won't be able to Terra the Goodra if we do that, so I don't know if we really want to make that. I kind of don't want to make that play. I feel like we could just switch into Goodra here. I think that's a safer play. We could also alternatively switch into Rotom. I kind of want to... Rotom is an interesting one in this game because it's got great coverage for his team, but it doesn't outspeed much of anything. So I feel like we'll go Rotom here. We'll go Rotom here because I don't want to take a huge hit on Goodra if he predicts this or if he has Ice Beam. So he could also have Grass Knot, of course, but we'll go into Rotom and see what he wants to do here. We are, of course, going to take the Stealth Rock damage, and he is going to go for a Gunk Shot. Okay, he transforms to Poison. He nails us with the Gunk Shot, and that does massive damage. So he predicts the switch. Oh, and he gets the Poison, too, so that's really unfortunate. So he does take some Life Orb damage as well. Okay, so we know the Greninja. We got a lot of valuable info. That was a bad turn for us in one way, but it was not a bad turn for us in a different way because we know the Greninja is Life Orb now. We know it's Gunk Shot, which means it could be mixed. And yeah, so those are good pieces of information. It does suck though because Rotom's basically dead in the water at this point. So there's not much we can do for Rotom at this point. I think Rotom's just going to have to go down, which is unfortunate. There's not much we can do about it. So we'll just click Shadow Ball, but we're going to go down to another attack here for sure. As he actually goes for the Water Shuriken maybe. Okay, so interesting. He goes to Water Shuriken anticipating a switch perhaps, but we stay in. He gets 3 shots, takes some Life Orb damage. Now he's going to have to take a choice, as he takes some Life Orb damage, he's going to have to take a choice Spec Shadow Ball from Rotom, which should chip this thing quite nicely actually. Takes him all the way into the red, which is incredible, but he does survive. We do go down to the Poison, and that does take the Rotom out, and we go down to, of course, to 5 Pokemon. But that was actually great. That was actually a pretty great turn of events for us because we got massive chip on the Greninja. So I'm okay with that exchange. So now the question is, how do we want to face the Greninja? Now we know we could come in with Scissor. That is a possibility, and we could defog the rocks away. I kind of want to do that. Because he will take himself out. Yeah, we're gonna go Scissor here because I kind of want to get the rocks off. Even though they don't like super work our team over, but still, rocks are rocks. So we come in with Scissor, we take the rocks. Now, he cannot survive another Life Orb recoil on the Greninja here, which means that if he attacks us, if he predicts the Bullet Punch, obviously, is really obvious here to take him out. So he could... I feel like he may just attack us here with the Greninja, with a Water Shuriken again. This is kind of our chance to defog the rocks away, so I kind of want to do that. So we're just going to hit defog here and see what he wants to do. He actually switches. Okay, what does he switch into, though? That's the question. Okay, he switches back to this thing. That's interesting. So he chooses to make the fodder switch, switches back to the Sandy Shocks, but it actually is going to work out in our favor because we go ahead and defog the rocks away. And then we are going to get some HP back here with our leftovers. So that actually worked out perfectly for us. Now I feel pretty safe to Bullet Punch. He's definitely within range with the Sandy Shocks. There's no reason not to, so we're just going to Bullet Punch. Yep, he stays in. This was a sack switch for him anyway. So we go Bullet Punch. Cleanly takes out the Sandy Shocks from there. We do take some Rocky Helmet chip, interestingly enough. So he was Rocky Helmet max Fizz Def on the Sandy Shocks probably, which was interesting. But we do get rid of the Sandy Shocks and knock him down to 4 Pokemon. So that is pretty great for us. We do get some HP back with the leftovers on the Scissor as well. So that's pretty good. This game has been pretty fast and furious so far, but so far not terrible. But yeah, Scissor is looking okay right now. He does have one thing that I am a little bit worried about with the Scissor, and we'll see what he wants to bring in here. He could have fire coverage on a couple of different Pokemon that he has remaining. We know he's not going to come in with the Greninja because it's within Bullet Punch range, of course. So his only Terra Captain that he brought this week was Cryogonal, and is that? Yes, it is. So he comes in with the Cryogonal, and if I were a betting man, I would bet that this thing is going to be Terra Fire. I really feel like this thing is Terra Fire to deal with the Scissor. So I really just want to switch out here. Now, the only bad news about the switch here is that if we go to Goodra and he goes for the Ice attack, that could obviously be bad news. But I feel like Goodra is definitely the switch here. just simply because I feel like this thing's Terra Fire. So we're just going to switch straight to Goodra here. We'll make the obvious play and switch to Goodra, predicting perhaps a Terra Fire from this thing. So there is the Goodra. We do come in with that, as he is going to go ahead and bust out his Terra. Kind of figured he would. Is it going to be Terra? I feel like it's definitely Terra Fire. He wouldn't have done it against the Scissor, but he Terras into... It is Terra Fire. Okay, so I kind of figured he would have Terra Fire on deck for the Scissor with the Cryogonal, so that is indeed the case. He does go for a Freeze Dry, though, which is very interesting. So he goes for the Freeze Dry, predicting the Goodra switch, but he also goes Terra Fire, so that's a pretty interesting turn of events there. We do get some HP back with the leftovers on the Goodra, which is fine. I'm kind of okay with this thing being Terra Fire. Unfortunately, we don't have the best of attacks to hit it with Goodra, and this thing is very specially defensive. So the question is, because we could Terra here now too, we have to go for an attack, obviously, to try and chip this thing down. But the question is, what do we want to hit this thing with? I feel like if we go Terra Fairy, I feel like that's kind of useful. Being Terra Fairy is kind of useful, I think, in this matchup, in this situation. So, because we want to take less damage from a Freeze Dry. So, I do kind of want a Thunderbolt for neutral damage here rather than Draco right off the cuff. So I kind of want to just do that. Yeah, so let's just do that. Let's Terra. So we're going to go ahead and pop our Terra. He does stay in, so he probably goes for another Freeze Dry here if I had to guess, but unfortunately we don't have super effective damage against this thing this week. But we go ahead and pop our Terra for Goodra, terrestrializing into a Fairy type, which hopefully will serve us well. We're going to take neutral damage from an incoming Ice attack, as he does go for another Freeze Dry. Does neutral damage, which is not too much, as we go for a Thunderbolt for neutral damage as well. Doesn't do much of anything to that thing, unfortunately. It is very specially defensive. So we get some HP back with the leftovers, and yeah, he doesn't. So he could be Assault Vest based on the damage, although it's hard to tell. We are max special attack on the Goodra, so we have a choice to make at this point, and the choice is, I feel like if we go for another Thunderbolt, we're not chipping this thing much. He definitely wins the War of Attrition here, I think, but I do think I don't think we're ready to go for the Draco Meteor yet, because he's not low enough. So let's, he could also have Flash Cannon, though. That's another possibility. So maybe we do just Draco for mass damage. Yeah, let's Draco for max damage output here. He does actually switch, so his Fairy is gone. What is he going to switch into a Draco Meteor here? That is going to be the Metagross. Okay, so Metagross switches in, actually. We go for the Draco Meteor. We actually miss, which is kind of unfortunate, as we do regain some HP from leftovers. I'm not 100% sure how much damage that would have done. But yeah, that miss is unfortunate, because now we're kind of in a situation where we've Terra Fairy'd, so that means that there's not... he could hit us super effectively with a Steel move, which we don't want. So I kind of want to just... I think we just switched to Scissor here. Yeah, we just switched to Scissor here. We don't want to overthink it. We are up right now. We don't want to overthink it, so we're going to switch to Scissor. We could have gone Mudsdale as well, but we know he doesn't get fire coverage with the Metagross. So we'll come in with Scissor. He does go Knockoff, which is unfortunate. It does do a lot of damage to us and get rid of our leftovers, so that sucks. So the Metagross has Knock. So that is an unfortunate turn of events. But it is what it is. I feel like we probably just go for a Knock in return here with the Scissor. I don't really see a reason not to, so we're just going to fire off a knockoff of our own here. He does switch out, so we are going to get a knockoff on something with the Scissor, which is good. He switches in. Okay, that is going to be the Cryogonal, so that thing comes in. We go for a knockoff. It does do a lot of damage to that thing and get rid of its heavy-duty boots, which is amazing. So, is that thing within Bullet Punch range? That is really close. That is really close. Is that thing in Bullet Punch range is the question. I feel like we chance it at this point. I feel like we chance it. I feel like we just go for the Bullet Punch and chance it. Cryogonal has pretty bad defense, but it is resisted. We are max attack on the Scissor. Let's just go for it. Let's go for it. He stays in. Is the Bullet Punch enough? Yes! Yes, the Bullet Punch is enough to take care of the Cryogonal from that range, knocking him down to 3 Pokemon. So Scissor is actually putting in quite the lot of work in this match, which is pretty awesome. So, so you definitely love to see that. So now he is in fact going to come in with the Annihilate, and this thing could definitely be the X factor in this matchup. So we can't do a ton to this thing with Scissor except knock it off, so I think that's exactly what we're going to do. If he starts setting up, it could be bad news for us. But I think we definitely knock off here. We 100% knock off here. He does go, yep, I was afraid of that. So he bulks up, so he's the bulk up set. So that is bad news for us. We go knock off. Does do some decent chip damage and get rid of that thing's Cobra Bear. Oh, okay, so he was Cobra Bear. So he's got no item on the Annihilate. So he was bulk up. So he was Cobra Berry, anticipating a flying move from perhaps our Sneasler. So in this situation, we definitely U-turn here. And that's the play. He is going to Drain Punch, okay, and it does take us out. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. So how much health does he get back? He's not quite at full. Okay, so we do go down to a Drain Punch there with Scissor. Gotta make a note of that. He's the bulk up set. And that knocks us down to 4. So Scissor is down, but that's kind of okay. So the only reason I say it's kind of okay is because we do, while this thing is sitting at +1 attack, we know for a fact that this thing is going to be outsped by our Choice Scarf and DD at this point. So I think we could come in with Mudsdale and tank an attack, but I don't think that's the right play. I think the right play is Indeedee here. So we're going to switch in with Indeedee. Now, the only problem about this is, of course, the fact that we get the Psychic Surge up, which is nice. Since Scissor's down, we have no more priority. But the only problem about this is but his other 2 Pokemon are either X4 resist or are immune to our Psychic attack. So that's the problem that we have right now with going for Expanding Force. Having said that, Shadow Ball's not enough to take this thing out. Dazzling Gleam's not enough to take this thing out. We have to go for Expanding Force or this thing. I think we have to go for Expanding Force here. As much as I hate, because his last 2 Pokemon, this will do nothing to. But we have to go for Expanding Force here. We have to see if we can catch him with the Scarf and go for Expanding Force here. Because nothing else we go for is going to be enough. So we have to Expanding Force here. If he stays in, we get him with the Scarf, and I think it's a guaranteed KO, even if he's max special defense, it KOs. And he stays in. Yes, we catch him with the Scarf, and it is going to go ahead and take that Annihilate down, knocking him down to just 2 Pokemon. So that Scarf was absolutely amazing for us. Indeedee coming through for us there, as he's got 2 Pokemon left. He's got the Greninja, which is on Death's Door, and he's got the Metagross. So now he's going to come in with the Metagross. So our decision at this point is basically we just want to, I think, switch into... Do we want to switch into Mudsdale or do we want to switch into Goodra is the question. And that is a good question. We don't know what this thing's item is yet. We know it has knockoff. I feel like it may be more valuable at this stage in the game to keep Mudsdale healthy. So I almost want to just switch Goodra in at this point because we want to get this thing out of here. There's no question about that. I feel like Goodra is the... It's a tough choice. It really is between Mudsdale and Goodra who switches in here. I feel like... Let's go Goodra, because we know we can't take a Gunk Shot. Yeah, we'll go Goodra, because we know we can't take a Gunk Shot from Greninja with Goodra. So we're going to just go into Goodra here and see what he wants to do. He could very easily knock off here, so we come in with Goodra, and he does knock off. Okay, so that's fine. So it does do quite a bit of chip damage to us and get rid of our leftovers, which is unfortunate. But... Now we're going to find out something about this Metagross. We're going to find out if it's choice or not, which is going to be really important, I think. So I think we definitely just go Flamethrower here. That's definitely the play. See what he wants to do. We actually outspeed him, which is interesting. We go Flamethrower, does not quite half. He goes Psychic Fangs, which takes us out, taking advantage of our Psychic terrain. So we know he's not Scarf, which is fine. But unfortunately, we lose Goodra there, and we go down to 3 Pokemon. So he's Psychic Fangs on the Metagross. So I think now with the information that we have, now we definitely get a safe switch into Mudsdale. I think that's the play here, is a safe switch into Mudsdale. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we'll make the safe switch into Mudsdale here. And I think our best course of action here is just to Earthquake. I don't see any reason not to, so we're just going to click Earthquake here. And he has Grass Knot. That's shocking. Okay, so he's got Grass Knot, which does massive damage to the Mudsdale, but we do survive with about a third of our HP. We go for the Earthquake in return. It does take care of the Metagross, knocking him down to just 1 Pokemon, which is pretty amazing. And I think as we get some HP back with the leftovers, I think, ladies and gentlemen, that may be all she wrote for this one, because his last Pokemon is that Greninja, and unfortunately for him, it only has 1 more attack in it thanks to Life Orb. So I think there's no reason for us to overthink this. I mean, we may as well just, because of Life Orb, there's really nothing that he can do. How many turns do we have of Psychic Surge left? I guess it really doesn't matter, honestly. But yeah, this is the last turn of Psychic Surge, so I will play it as if this really matters. But he only has 1 hit left in him, so we'll just click Earthquake here. But he goes for the Grass Knot, so he's got Grass Knot on Greninja too. Grass Knots galore. Does take the Mudsdale out, unfortunately, knocking us down to 2 Pokemon. However, the Life Orb recoil damage does take the Greninja out this turn. And as Greninja goes down, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be game. All right, so we are going to win that one 2-0 against Emeraldminer. Really solid matchup, though. Very fast-paced, high-octane game there. Little bit of even hacks on both sides, but also some good predictions from us. I think early definitely swung this one in our favor. So yeah, but really solid match all the same. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to say that the Philadelphia Pidgeys are now once again going to advance into the semifinals in the BHDL, this time in Season 4. Amazing turn of events for us. Very happy to take the win in this one over a very tough opponent in Emeraldminer. But yeah, I will reserve my full thoughts on this game for the Captain's Recap. Of course, we're going to do a Captain's Recap for the quarterfinals coming your way next time, and then follow that up with the semifinals featuring the Philadelphia Pidgeys in the semifinals once again in the BHDL Season 4. Although, as we'll discuss in the recap, we already know our opponent for the semifinals, and it may be the end of the line for the Philadelphia Pidgeys. But for right now, just very happy to take the win here in this one and advance to the semifinals. So, but that's it for this one. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So, that's it. And we'll see you next time.